Yeah, I guess my question would be referring to what Dr. Anthony Fauci said last night, that a sort of a different definition of the new normal. It's going to be difficult for us ever to get back to pre-coronavirus life because we are still living with, and even when there is a vaccine, we'll still be living with the specter of this. So what does that mean for the way that people buy things, the way that people go out to dinner, the way that people spend money? How
I
long
think that
of a pause are
that's
they putting on
probably
that?
I think it's a little bit of an overstatement. If we have a vaccine, I think we go back in many ways towards the old normal. However, one of the things that I think will shift is not so much consumer behavior, but the relationship between employers and their workers. We've already seen in the United States that pioneering employers are taking much greater interest in the welfare of their workers. And I think that will last and actually expand in the United States.
Okay, so I love this. I love that you're talking about this because I think we are one of the few wealthy countries in the world that doesn't have strict employee protections. But that comes at a price for investors because it increases the bottom line for companies. It increases the expenses for a company, decreases the bottom line for a company, and then can have a result on the company's stock price. So what does that look like on the other side of this? Does that mean that we're going to see significant worker protections now from U.S. companies that haven't had those? And what does that mean for the way that investors look at these companies?
We've actually spent years studying a subset of employers who have been providing this kind of support for their employees. They typically did it to bring in marginalized workers, people with criminal records or people in extreme poverty, and they found they needed a whole support network. The good news for investors and really for corporate America is that when you find the people who are ready to turn their life around in these instances, and then give them the kinds of supports to help maintain their employment, it ends up in having a very engaged, loyal workforce. So companies actually can benefit financially because they have such low turnover rates relative to their peers.
Look, I love the optimism here, but I have to say, we live in a country where the minimum wage hasn't gone up federally in more than a decade. So it's hard for me to really understand or believe that on the other side of this, we're going to really completely change the way that we think about taking care of workers in this country.
Well, people are talking about democratic socialism, the European model, but I think here we might see an opportunity for what I would call safety net capitalism, where it is employer driven. We were seeing it. Raises were coming before this downturn due to the pandemic. We were seeing solid wage increases, very consistent benefit increases. A robust economy really solves a lot of social ills. If we can get back to that, I think we can see corporate America taking the lead.
I love it. Jeffrey Korzenik, Chief Investment Strategist at Fifth Third Bank. Love the optimism here. Thanks so much for taking the time and waking up with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.